They say it takes about 21 days to change a habit. So now we're about 6 weeks into a national lockdown due to the global pandemic, the coronavirus. And things have changed forever. People's habits have changed. History has changed. Not necessarily a bad thing because life is constant change. Time is like a river. You can never touch the same spot twice. We've seen some good things in humanity. We've seen some bad things in humanity. Um, we're always going to see a certain percentage of people in society that are anarchists, that are contentious, nasty, sometimes all the way at the highest level of leadership, all the way to the lowest person on social media. There's nothing new under the sun with dealing with humans in a time of an emergency. Because as we know through history, pandemics have happened before. The Spanish flu in 1917 killed 100 million people. And we didn't even really know about that or appreciate that just a couple months ago. But what we can say as we observe what's going on around us and we try to find a direction to go forward, because we have to go forward in life. Life can't be lived going backwards. Even if things are changing forever, which they always are, but at a more rapid pace now that we're in such an emergency, we have to remember to look forward, not backwards. Your future is always forward looking, never backward looking. You can never look at your past relationships to have hope for your future. Now, we are learning the lesson. You can look at your past history to learn some mistakes and to realize that you have to treat life as what it is, which is a temporary thing. I've often said that we're all terminally ill, even if we never get the coronavirus. But some people in society are worrying, and that's why there's starting to be protests this weekend, including because you have bad leadership. You had the president pretty much inciting protest, even though a country is under lockdown under his orders. But I have no problem, obviously, reopening the country or going forward if we could do it a level safely. But there's people that are worrying and getting restless. Restless is probably a good word too. One is businesses are worrying that consumer habits have changed forever. It takes 21 days to change a habit. Remember that when you go on a diet, and you're struggling on Sunday because Sunday was the day you ate pizza or whatever it may be. Pluto, $2 super chat. Much love to Florida. Well, brother, shout out to you and Tariq and everyone in Florida, man. Right now, under 1,000 deaths in Florida. Not that that's, like a celebratory statement, but I was looking today because today in America, we crossed over 40,000 Americans dead in about 5 weeks. And even the president said tonight in his press conference, this is nothing like the flu. You see how fast it killed 40,000 people? 3 days before he called the national emergency, he compared this to the flu. So again, I think missteps, I think. But however, look, this is a tough one to call. A global pandemic is never going to be easy one to call. Thank you, Pluto. Appreciate you, brother. I do. I appreciate everyone that pushes to go forward with their mental health, with their life, okay, in a positive direction. You got to address negativity, but you got to surround yourself with the right people. And you have to accept change and you have to create change. Okay. Because you can create the future a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you can create an environment. I mean, right now, it's a very challenging thing to be so restricted because movement is very much restricted. And that's frustrating. But in order to create change, sometimes it requires patience and planning. And it requires developing a routine that will sustain you through the storm. Like I told people, what has sustained my mental, physical health through these tough times? A routine. Waking up early, having a healthy breakfast, going for a walk. I can't go to the gym. I can't do things I once did that made life easier, but I keep a routine. Okay. So at the end of the night, I'm tired, not anxious. And one thing I think many people learn that maybe you don't need to spend $10 a day in Starbucks. Maybe you don't need to go out to a restaurant every Saturday. I'm not saying you do or you don't. That's an individual choice, right? But some of the businesses are worried that consumer habits are very much part of their routine. And so now that society has changed so much, maybe a lot of people don't go to Starbucks anymore. Maybe a lot of people don't go to yoga anymore. Maybe they're going to do yoga in their own house. A lot of people will revert back to their old life. But guys, make sure that if there was things in your old life that can be eliminated or refined, change. Change forever. And never go back. A butterfly changes, man. A caterpillar to a butterfly. The hot, nerdy chick in school changes to some hot MILF. And you say, oh, shit, I don't remember her. Okay. Change for the better. The tough part about changing for the better is you have to let go of the past. That's a tough thing for all of us, man. We all struggle with that. And what we do is we tend to remember the past better than what it was. A lot of times when I would struggle getting out of a relationship or getting over losing money or doing something stupid, I was trying to say, or I remember things better than what they were. Example, I would get over a breakup, and you break up with someone for a reason. You break up with someone for a reason. But I remember getting over a couple breakups, and it was tough emotionally. And I was thinking about all the good things. So right now, people have been in lockdown for about 5 weeks. So they think about every good thing that was in the past. Okay. So a lot of people are missing the gym, but a lot of people used to love an excuse to miss the gym. Okay. A lot of people miss going to work or miss traveling, but they hated traffic. They hated driving. A lot of people hated crowds. Now there's no crowds. So a lot of times, we tend to remember things better than what they were. Now, certainly things should not always be in a national lockdown in a state of emergency. That's not healthy long term. It's not sustainable. However, it's only been 5 weeks and we got 40,000 Americans died. The second wave was the most deadly in 1917 because the Spanish flu started in March, but the second wave in September killed more people than the initial. So re-entering society is going to have to be very much, you can't take the worst thing, in which I'm seeing some people do now, I do think we should strategically reopen. But what I'm seeing a lot of politicians do, which they always do, is celebrate a victory. I remember when George Bush stood on a naval ship and it was mission accomplished on the back of the ship. And we were stuck in that war for about a decade longer. But people, especially in election year, people want to celebrate a victory before it's a victory to make themselves look good. And the president did that today in a press conference. It was disgraceful. He played clips of other people praising him. Okay. Guys, you have to define yourself or else someone else will. But when you're so egotistical and vain that people have to praise you, it says something about your character. So I talk on politics directly to you, okay? I don't want to get stuck there, but you know where I stand, okay? So that if you don't like where I stand, you can go stand somewhere else, okay? I don't think any politician in any political party would have handled this perfectly. I don't think it's possible. I think it's a messy part of life. And I think that to change going forward, you really have to focus on what you can do within your life. Address the politics, get involved in society, be a voice, but also remember that the core work of everyone's life is always centered in your own personal improvement, your own personal habits. 21 days to form a habit. We have been over 21 days in a lockdown. You are forever changed. Your habits change, maybe for the good or the worse. You have to learn, or at least I have learned, I should say that betterly. I don't like to tell you have to learn. I try to learn to let go. It's a daily discipline. I try to learn to not look at my past life, even if it was yesterday, as something to cling to. I try to learn, what can I control? I try to change myself to who I want to be before I try to change society. Now, some people, when I change myself, they may not like me. Right? I often said, when I was young, you give into peer pressure to please your peers. That's the definition of peer pressure, to give into the pressure from your peers. And then when you get into your 20s, you have to kind of try to figure out your own adult life. And, like me, I started to separate myself from friends. I got into a church. I tried to go a different direction. I changed forever. It was a gradual process. Like if we gradually reopen the country, it's not going to be like open up the baseball stadium tomorrow. It took me like a good 10 years to stop smoking cigarettes, to stop going to the strip club. It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes 21 days to change a habit, but it takes decades to change some foundational things in your life and to sustain them. That's why I said, if you ask me directly about the coronavirus, it will be probably a year or 2 years before you stop wearing a face mask, in my opinion. I think it'll be probably about a year to 2 years before you see packed football stadiums. My opinion, not fact. But, you can go down that road because it's very exciting to talk about, when will it go back to normal? And that brings me back to the beginning of the, thing with this is you can never touch, time is like a river. Time is like a river. You can never touch the same spot twice. Life has forever changed. A lot of what you knew in life will go back to normal, but even if this virus never happened, guys, think about this. Let's say the virus, we're in 2020 as I make this. Let's say the virus never happened. And let's say you were sitting here in April of 2020, and I asked everyone in the live chat, which I will go and I will read every comment, and Pluto, I thank you again for that super chat. Let's say that if this virus never happened, and I asked everyone in this chat room tonight, has things forever changed in your life compared to today, April 2020 to April 2019? Or to April 2018. If you evaluate your life and separate the coronavirus, I think you could probably look back at the last year or two of your life and say, you know what? Even if this coronavirus didn't take place, I'm not dating the same person, or I'm married to the same person, but I don't like that person. My kids once, maybe 2 years ago, your kids loved you. And now maybe they ran away. That's what happens during puberty. I've shared that story with you guys. There was years that I never gave my mom hell, but I gave my mom a run for her money. Every child gives their parent a run for their money, including you. I want every parent to remember when you were at the age of your child that's giving you hell. So you see, even if you take the coronavirus away, life changes forever. I remember my mom telling me, as I started to get older in my 20s and definitely 30s, and she goes, Sam, some of the best years of life was when I would drop you off and watch you and your friends play football. And when I would be in the stands and I would do the shaker, or I watch you play a basketball game and stuff. So those years are forever gone. Right? You can never go back in life. Even if it's for the good or for the worse, don't matter. Life is a delicate mental balance of letting go and trying to find something hopeful for the future. That's where you need a leader that is not contentious and causing division in the middle of a pandemic. But even if they're being boring and politically correct, guys, I think it's good that Donald Trump isn't always political correct, but I think it's bad that he's always too brash. You need balance. Okay. But that's what society is. We go from one extreme to the other. But at this time, you just need to kind of like be more stable. When things are unstable, you need to be stable. When, things are stable, you may need to shake things up a little bit. Okay. There's value to shaking things up and to pushing some buttons, but you do that when there's stability. When there's instability, you really have to be more stable because that's what people need you to be, especially as a leader. There's always time to shake things up, guys, but not now. Okay. Now, we do need to get back to some level of normalcy, and there's no exact science to it. There's science that has to guide us, but there's no mathematical formula that says if you do X, Y, Z exactly like this, it's going to be the best path. Okay? Come together with yourself first. Okay? Get yourself together. There's a scripture that says a person should never be a leader in the church or even in society if they can't manage their own house. Okay. And I buy into that a little bit. However, I also buy into the fact there's no perfect person. So you're never going to have a, perfect scenario with that. But I want to close my opening statement on this, then we're going to read all off comments. Is that, again, 21 days it takes for the human to form a new habit. Habits form our routine. Our routine creates our life. Very important, your routine. Never forget it. So I always used to say when I struggled to stop smoking cigarettes, and cigarettes kill more people than the coronavirus. Never forget it. I can't believe that we still allow them to be legal. I don't care if it's a choice. The cigarette publicly traded tobacco companies are a disgrace to humanity. They really are. They really are. But what I can tell you is it took me years to break that addiction. Okay. Now, I would start to stop smoking and then, you fall off the wagon. Okay. But your cigarette is part of your daily routine. Like, it was hard for me to have coffee without a cigarette. Why? Because it was part of my habits. Your habits are your routine. Okay. And then it was hard for me not to have a Corona beer with a lime in it at the strip club and not smoke a cigarette. Why? Because it's part of my habits. You have to change your habits. You have to change your routine. You have to change your life forever. Always. You're always in a course of self-improvement. Your environment, like I often speak about, plays a big part. Your environment is your climate and your culture. And your culture is the people you're around. If you're around people now that are talking about they want to do a revolution, that they want to cause mass hysteria, you got to evaluate your people. I evaluate my people every day online and in my life. And when in doubt, I eliminate. I tell you guys, when it comes to downsizing, a lot of people get stuck mentally when it comes to downsizing and throwing out things, especially family hand-me-downs. And what I tell you is, when in doubt, throw it out. A lot of you people, which you can learn through 5 weeks of being locked down, you got a closet full of clothes that you don't really need. You got a lot of things in your house that you don't need. You got a lot of things in your life you don't need. And the things you have in your life that you don't need, they make it harder to change. And change is the constant of life. Who Moved My Cheese, the book by Dr. Spencer Johnson. He was the author. The book is called Who Moved My Cheese, just as in fat girls eating cheese. Was my number one book that I recommended people. It's about adapting in life. And the cheese changes. Where there's abundance and prosperity, that'll change. A lot of people had a Greek restaurant and they voted for Trump, and now their Greek restaurant is going out of business. Okay, guess what, guys? Too bad. You got to change. Okay. Because even if we open up, you ain't going to have a packed Greek restaurant. That's the truth. Okay. And however, you were a nasty bitch before this, you're going to be a nasty after. I know it. I hate to say that. I hate to say it, but it's true. That's how I feel tonight. So it's tough, man. It's tough to see things change in life, man. You have people you know that die is tough. Separating from friends, tough, man. Like, some separating from family. I know Luke's in here. He's always had problems with his family. But it is what it is, man. It's like you gotta let go. I wish I could still be cool with every friend I ever knew, but for me, I can't. I wish I could still be cool with my father. I say that, but I cringe. I really don't want to. I wish everyone on YouTube, we could vibe and it'd never be an issue, but it's not the reality of life. Why? Because I can't deal with life if I'm not in a healthy place. And so I and you have to individually determine what gets you in a healthy place and what changes you need to make forever. Forever cut off contact with an ex. Like I always said, there was a lot of people, and mostly my friends of mine that were girls, that used to say they like to keep people as friends. And in my opinion, everyone's different on this. In my opinion, if you break up with someone, you break up with them for a reason. I don't think they should be your friend. Because once you cross the line of intimacy, to be a friend is basically you're saying, I want to be your emotional tampon. And most of you people, you're crying more than you need to cry, because life will make you cry quick. Guys, I see someone walking their dog, I can start to cry. Okay. I see Donald Trump, I don't want to cry, I want to curse. But I start trying to stay positive. Life's temporary, guys. That's the good news. And one, it's sad because, when you get close to death, you may not want to die. And you shouldn't walk around with a death wish, even though I can understand why some people do. But just remember, it's all temporary. Try to make the most of it, and everything changes. All right, guys, I'm going to take a hydration break. With BBT, you know what it is, the Fuji water. It may make you impotent, but hey, when you don't want to have children, what do I say? Drink up. Because I don't want to have no kids. I'm going to watch some free porn tonight. That's true. All my children going to be right in his sock. That's truth. I ain't going to be mad at that. Oh, yeah. I may watch some Canadian porn today because I'm a big guy for universal healthcare. And I've been watching this Canadian. I wanted to give, if anyone likes, BBT, she's a comedian. If anyone likes a comedian, this is a good YouTube channel. I'm going to recommend it to you guys. She's a Canadian girl. I found her channel the other day trying to find something different to watch that was funny. And she's not like a stand-up comic. She's like an actress. She's from Canada. Cute girl. She don't have a big ass, but she's cute. I'm going to give you her name. I want you guys to write this down or put it in your phone. What's the name of her channel? Juliana something. Julie is her first name. Julie space Nolke. I don't know how to pronounce that. I guess it's French because she got like the Canadian people, they're French. Julie, Julie, last name, Nolke. She's like a comedian girl, does skits on YouTube. They're only like 5-minute videos. Great. She's a good actress too. She's going to go far in life. She's trending right now. She's going to go far in life. She's a good actress. Got a good range. Very funny. Cute. Now look, don't got a big ass, but I'm going to watch some Canadian porn in dedication to her. Let's take hydration. Thank you again, Pluto. I appreciate that super chat. I appreciate if everyone would take the time to click that thumbs up button. If we can get to 100 likes, that would be very much appreciated. It's free, and it shows me some love, and it means something to me. All right, we're going to go all live comments. I want to know what you guys are doing, how you feeling. Let's go to top of live comments. Live comments. Luke, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Great to have you here, brother. I appreciate you. How you doing, man? How's everything? South Carolina's got to be having some good weather. Starting to get a little warm today in New Jersey. It's going to get warmer as the weeks go on, especially as we get into May. So I'm looking forward to that. Never forget it. Bowling Thug, what's up, brother? Good to have you, man. I appreciate you being first and leaving a comment. God bless you, brother. Pluto, thank you again, brother, for the love. Hope your day is going well, brother. Overall, it's a good day because it was warm, a little sunny. Again, it's not Florida. It's 60 degrees. That's warm in New Jersey, okay? In Florida, that's fucking freezing. So everything within perspective, right? But I'm thankful that at least it's not the dead of winter. make the most of it and stay positive. Luke, missed my brother. Miss you too, man. In Norbert, what's up, brother? Hello, everyone. Good to have you, man. Thank you, Norbert. Uncle Arthur. I was about to say Uncle Luke. Who remembers Two Live Crew? I remember them. Good to see you, Uncle Arthur. Apathy. Shout out to Massachusetts. Hey, Sam. Good to see you. Good to see you also. Good topic. I appreciate that. I'm doing the best I can. Thank you, Apathy. Luke. Hope all is going well. How is your mom, my friend? She's doing good. Talk to her every day. Doing good as best she can. So things are stable there. You see her yet? I've saw her twice so far, but we haven't hugged. We kept social distance. So I don't know when we'll hug. Probably in May. But until you get testing, you don't really know if like you've had the virus or if you recovered from it and you could spread it to an elderly person. My mom is in her 70s. She's got diabetes. She's very much high risk. So I don't know how we're going to do that yet. We're kind of just taking it one step at a time. Snow Dog, what's up, man? Shout out to everyone living in their car in New Jersey. Shout out to you. Norma, hey, Norma. Hey, Sam, good vibes to you. Well, I appreciate that. Peace emoji back to you, Norma. And massage parlor emoji. I'm going to create channel memberships. They're going to have some type of special emojis. I only did 5, but I'm going to get some type of massage emoji in there eventually. I did an emoji with a girl with a pair of panties on it. So eventually that's going to come on the channel. I got to figure it out still. Luke, South Carolina opening its beaches again. Well, yeah, I mean, I think beaches would sound like a reasonable thing. Just like Jacksonville opened them up, as long as people are able to keep a distance and things like that. I mean, based on what they're telling us, I mean, it sounds reasonable. So, but I heard the beaches that opened up in Jacksonville, you still couldn't suntan and you still couldn't congregate. It was only for exercise. Dr. Horace, what's up, man? I enjoy your observations. Thank you. And comments. Thank you for that positive comment, Dr. Horace. Appreciate that. I grew up with a kid named Horace. We play basketball together. Love to you, man. Pluto. My next main goal to focus on is finally starting my marketing business. Okay, there you go. I have never been more ready. I like that. I like where you're going. Your mindset's positive and motivated. Thanks partly to you, Sam. Well, hey, man, you did it. I like where you're going, brother. Keep pushing forward. Luke, just curious, what will happen with the lockdown in the rest of the USA? Will it go into the summer or will you be back to normal in the fall? Second wave haunts us. Well, I think like for New Jersey and New York, you're definitely going to be into the summer before you open up. New York and New Jersey, their schools are not going to open up, I don't think, this year. So that's a major thing. But I thought about that. Like, is the Jersey Shore going to allow people to congregate on the boardwalks and the beaches in mass form? Because the Jersey Shore on the boardwalks and the beaches, it's packed. People are right on top of each other. So I don't think you're going to see that this summer. I don't think, you're going to see major congregation. I don't think you're going to see Shea Stadium or Yankee Stadium packed. I think you'll have some opening with a lot of distancing. And I think you'll be wearing a face mask for at least 1 to 2 more years. I think this time next year, you may still be wearing a face mask. I do. So now, is it the same thing if you go to the beach and you're wearing a face mask? You know what I mean? Think about that. Like, say you were a person, you were getting ready to go to a club or you're getting ready to go to a restaurant. Say you were picking up think about all the people in the dating scene. Like you're getting ready to, you're courting someone, you meet them, you want to take them out on a date. You're both going to go to a restaurant with the face mask on. Or even now meeting someone, when you meet someone and you want to hit on them, body language is 80% of the conversation. You almost have to take your face mask off to flirt with them. It's very different. Things have changed forever, at least for the next couple of years, big time. So guys, how you flirt, how you interact, how you dress up, it's all changed probably forever. Luke, who knows? I'm just trying to be positive and take it one day at a time. That's wisdom. One day at a time is wisdom. Marin, 99 cents super chat with an angel emoji. Well, damn it, Marin, may the Lord bless you. And Milford Motors. Guys, I didn't say MILF as in porn. I said Milford Motors as in the business that Marin and her husband own in Southwest Florida. So if you're in the market for an RV and if you want a free delivery up to 100 miles of Sanibel Island, I want you to contact Marin, aka Ziggy339, who just gave me a 99-cent super chat. And I want you to say, Marin, put my big ass in the most expensive Class C RV you got, okay? And you remember to tell her that Sam sent you. Thank you very much. This is brought to you by Fuji Water. Well, not really. Thank you, Pluto, and thank you, Marin. Let's take hydration, man. Let's continue. Luke, who knows? I was just trying to be positive, taking one day at a time. What's your thoughts concerning an RV? Well, like I said, if you want to buy an RV, check out Milford Motors. But for me, right now, I look every day. There's nothing out there. There's 3 RVs on my radar. The Great Escape by A-Liner. That's about a 1,500-pound travel trailer. Hold on, Marin. Marin found a magical emoji. I think I turned to a butterfly with that emoji. $1.99 super chat. With a guy running and transforming into a butterfly. Well, that's me. You kissed me. I turned to a butterfly. Thank you, Marin. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Marin. Run your ass to Milford Motor, guys. But the Great Escape A-Liner, the Corrado Axion, if I go Class B, I had looked at the Falcon F-Lite 14, but I don't know, and I'm still looking at home bases. So when in doubt, at this point, don't buy. The pain in the economy hasn't gotten great enough where they're giving out any great deals. So this would have to stretch into about a year before you get to see deals on houses or deals on whatever. But you never know. Like, everyone individual circumstance is different. Like, if you meet someone that had a restaurant and they were making great money and now all of a sudden they're going to close up that restaurant, they may sell their second house in Florida. And guess what? I'm going to say, I'll take it. But it has to be the right deal. So, Stephen, thank you for laughing. So, all we're going to do is the best we can, brother, one day at a time. Right now, it's just steady as she goes. I'm trying to get through this. I'm just trying to get to warmer weather at this point, hopefully in May. Pluto, thank you again, brother. You and Tariq down in Florida. I shall return very shortly. Apathy. Do you know we will have a second wave? It's possible. How can we do it safely? Well, guys, look, we do it safely by wearing masks, by social distancing, by testing. They didn't have that during 1917. During 1917, we didn't have a sanitation system. When you took a shit in back of the shed, okay? When you took a shower, you dumped a bucket of water on yourself. We didn't have hygiene. We didn't have health care. We didn't have a lot of things in 1917. So we can't really compare that second wave to ours. However, we can say that once we introduce people back into society, infections are going to go up, no doubt. And we have to be very careful that if they start to go up, we start to regress back to lockdown. Singapore went through the first wave, reopened, and then they locked back down. So countries have already shown that they go through a couple back and forth. But I am not opposed to trying to strategically open things a little. The answer can't be to stay locked up for 2 years. I just don't think that's healthy for society. I don't think it's healthy to say, all right, everyone go back to normal tomorrow. You got to take incremental steps. Use the science, use wisdom, use unity. Guys, there's a time to riot in the streets, not now, okay? So what I can tell you is we'll see, one day at a time. It's scary, though, I know. Luke, I feel when you have a second chance to make it happen, my man, because you need it. Love to you, brother. I appreciate that. I care about you. I care about you, too. I care about every positive person, even the bad people. I care about everyone. I have seen your struggle through the coronavirus, can tell it takes a toll. It does. The worst part about living in a car van is when you get sick. And what I could tell you is, when you get sick and you live in your car van, it's not sufficient. Okay? You're going to have to go to a hotel or whatever. Now, I'm a stubborn bastard, and I'm cheap as hell. Okay? So I fucking suffer through it. But I'm also 40 years old and in decent shape. Okay? So I'm telling you right now, I do not plan to be in my car at 70. I would either going to be in a home base or in a self-contained RV. A self-contained RV means you have your own shower, your own kitchen, and your own sleeping quarters within that RV, even if it's small as hell. So I do not recommend a car van to the elderly or to many other people. However, I know people elderly doing it. Okay, I've met great friends on it. It's not rocket science. And if you have no other choice, don't even beat yourself up about it. Like, if you say, Sam, I don't know what to do. I'm destitute. I don't have a lot of money. I have to live in my car or van. Well, that's your choice. It's like you have no other choice. So when you have no other choice, don't even beat yourself up. Like, you shouldn't sit in your car and say, oh, no, I can't live in my car. Well, if you have no choice, you live in your car. Okay. So until you can do something better, and then you have to plan to try to do something better. But some people may like the car. I like car living, but after 3 years, I do want to improve on having climate control. In the spring and in the fall, it's easy to live in your car, and in the winter in Florida. But when it gets hot in the summer or cold in the winter, if you're up north, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. So I don't want to continue to go through summers without air conditioning, or winters without, I plan to be in Florida in the winter. That's true. So, I don't know. I'm going to improve it a little bit, but I'm being very strategic, just like reopening the country. I'm not making rash, emotional decisions. I'm strategically looking for the right deal at the right time. Good job. Apathy. Rick Scott is horrible governor. Well, he was sued when he worked in the private sector for Medicare fraud. He is just like Steve Mnuchin. Hold on. Sean Hawkins, $20 super chat, showing love. Damn it, Sean. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Sean Hankins. Damn, man. God bless you, brother. I appreciate that super chat, showing a lot of love, man. Show some love to our brother Sean. Put a thumbs up, man. Yeah, Marin from Milford Motors gave you a smiley face, Sean. Thank you, brother. And thank you, Pluto, too. I don't forget anyone. I appreciate that tip, man. Very kind of you, man. Very kind of you. Well, like I said, look, Rick Scott, he was on the books for committing Medicare fraud. Just like Steve Mnuchin, the head of the secretary who cut the $1,200 stimulus check while corporations got trillions, he was sued for committing fraud when he worked on Wall Street. So a lot of people who are convicted or investigated people of fraud, they run the country. It's just the way life works a little bit, okay? And Rick Scott, he speaks well. He's not very divisive. He speaks well. But if you look at his history, he is very much a fraud artist. And he was put in charge of Medicare. So you have to do the research on each individual person. Yeah, Shane Levin. So that's my feelings on Rick Scott. Let's continue. Luke, I can tell one thing, my man. I am ready to make a move soon out of the Carolinas. Okay, I can understand that. Realize my family is no longer my true family. You realized that a long time ago. I know that's not easy. I have to now live my life because I have seen some family. You got to go forward, man. Separating from family and friends is one of the hardest things, but you have to take care of yourself. Luke will never change. Most people will never change. It's true, man. Hard to deal with, but it's true. Apathy. Do you think we are headed into a depression? I think we're headed into a recession. A recession is defined as 6 months to 12 months worth of negative economic growth. There's specific measurements, but just for general speaking terms, a recession is pretty much 6 months to 12 months of negative economic growth. A depression is more than 2 years with negative economic growth. So right now, I would not say that we'll be in a depression until we see how this plays out over the course of the next 6 or 8 months. Now, if we get into September and it's a disaster, then we're probably going to be in a depression. Now, but here's the difference between today, 2020, and 1929. In the United States of America, 1929 was the last and really only official major depression in America. The difference between now and then is we have the Federal Reserve that will print money without any with trillions, zillions, billions, it don't matter. So if we go into a depression and there's mass businesses that go out, the government will say, well, look, now we have to give everyone $1,200 a month until unemployment gets under 10%. Two Democratic House of Representatives, one from Ohio, one from California, they proposed a bill. Hold on, we got a super chat with a guy with a wide ass. G. Grosner, $9.99. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Grosner. God bless you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, man, very much. God bless you guys being generous to me. I don't take it for granted. And God bless you, Grosner. And I hope I'm saying the name right. Thank you. But like I said, I mean, there's two, oh my God, we coming out hot tonight. Stimulus for Sammy. $10 super chat, DTN, professional window closers. Guys, here's a fun fact. DTN over a year ago, was the first person to ever give me a super chat. I remember that. He said, Sam, this will help you on your journey. I'll never forget that, brother. He's a hardworking man. He has a cleaning business, and he worked for the healthcare system. He goes, Sam, I hope all is well. It's been a while. I'll never forget you, like I said. Saw a live stream. Thank God I'm still employed. See, this is a key. I want everyone to remember this, especially my entrepreneurs. DTN has an entrepreneur mindset. He wants to be an entrepreneur. He did window cleaning and a couple other hustles. However, he also knows that he has a child to raise and he needs steady income. So he also got a job working in a hospital. This is over a year ago, okay? And I told you, this guy's a good guy. So now, when the entrepreneurs are suffering, when a lot of small businesses are closing up, there's no windows to clean. Thank God that he had a side hustle, or a main hustle really, as working in the hospital. So, brother, man, God bless you, man. I'll never forget you. He goes, everybody stay safe. We are conquerors. And this guy's positive, man. I want you guys to click on his video. Click on his channel, man. DTN presents himself very well. Man of integrity. No one's perfect. But all I can tell you, brother, is I appreciate you. Thank you. And again, to all my entrepreneurs out there, most businesses fail. I'm not saying don't have a business, but especially to my young and middle-aged people, especially if you have children, have a main job, okay? And do your side thing on the side. YouTube's on the side. Why? Because, guys, at any minute, businesses change a lot. However, back to my point, there's two House of Representatives, one representative from Ohio, one from California. They're proposing a bill that if this lasts, they want to give every American $2,000 a month until we get back to the unemployment levels before the coronavirus. Right now, unemployment's at about 15% or so. So unemployment was at about 4% before the virus. So you would get $2,000 a month for probably about years. Now, do I think that will pass? No, but if this plague goes on into the winter and mass people are still continuing to get laid off, in the course of 3 weeks, 22 million Americans got laid off. So if we're still in this state of emergency in 6 or 8 months, and if we try to reopen and the rates go up, then you will see a bill similar, if not that bill, that everyone's going to have to get $1,200 to $2,000 a month until we get things back under control, because you can't have people starve, okay? And the bill by the House of Representatives, the two Democratic ones, they were going to give it for people making up to $130,000. So if you made $130,000 or less, you get to $2,000. The other bill was like you had to make $75,000 or less. So we'll see how it plays out. Thank you guys for being very generous on the super chats. I appreciate that. Snow Dog, Nova Scotia. I remember there was a song about that, Nova Scotia. Who was that? I forgot the name of the group now. Nova Scotia. Scotia. Who's that? They were smoking weed a lot. I was smoking weed back then. Killing spree going on, Sam. Is there a killing spree? I never heard about that. Now, I know a couple girls that used to like the movie, The Purge. Guys, if you're ever dating a girl and she wants to dress up like someone from the movie Purge, break up with her immediately. Immediately. Guys, I give you guys a lot of pro tips in life. How to change your life, how to break addiction, how to pursue business. I want to give you one of the biggest pieces of advice I ever give you. If you're dating a girl and on Halloween, she wants to dress up like one of the people from the movie Purge, break up with her immediately. Why? Because if you continue to date her, it's going to end in a horror show. It's going to be a horror movie. I guarantee it. Okay, let's stay positive. Luke, this whole lockdown has shown me that if your family is not here for you during these tough times, they never will be. So it was a huge wake-up call for me. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people too that can't wait to get rid of their children. Like Trump even asked, like a reporter asked Trump, like, when are you going to open the schools? I'm tired of my kid being in the thing. And Trump goes, I know, I got a young kid too. So guys, a lot of people that had kids, they want to put their ass in school. So, but to your point, like, look, as an adult, even if you get along with your family, you have to have your personal time and your personal space. And the reality of life is you're on your own to a certain extent. You're blessed if you do have a loving family. But for some of us, you may have some people in your family that are loving. Guys, really the only person I talk to in my family is my mom. And, Other than that, I really don't talk to my siblings. I don't talk to my father. I don't talk to my cousins, aunts. So, everyone has a different set of cards in life. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Apathy. Very grateful always for your wisdom. I appreciate you as well. It's reciprocal. You always want to be in a reciprocal relationship. What does that mean? It's a mutual respect and admiration. You never want to be in a one-sided relationship. What is a one-sided relationship? You send a 5-bullet point text to someone you like, and they reply with one letter, K. If you just poured your heart out and you got a one-letter reply, K, break up with them immediately, because that's not a reciprocal relationship. Having a routine is crucial. I definitely agree with that. Thank you for the stress. Of stressing that. They are keeping my sanity through this. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Luke, I agree, Sam. I have been keeping a routine good. With my morning coffee, good. Nice walk, good. Try not to put sugar in your coffee. Nice walk to get the blood flowing. Got to keep your blood flowing. What happens when your blood flows in your body? The blood in your body, when it flows, it delivers nutrients and oxygen to your cells. Okay? So keeping your circulatory system flowing, working, ensures that your body gets the proper nutrition and oxygen to the cells. Got to keep moving, guys. Guys, click that thumbs up. Let's get to 100 of them. And he goes, flowing after work with DoorDash. DoorDash popping right now, guys. You could be a millionaire doing DoorDash right now. And side hustles, going home to cook dinner. That's the main reason why I really don't want to get a Class B yet, because if the bottom falls out and we go into a depression, I want a fuel-efficient small car I know could DoorDash with. Because we don't know how the future is going to play out, man. Bland, I think there's a chance. Bland did a video with his girlfriend, man, reviewing some energy drink, man. He goes, I think there's a chance that people will be, I want to say too, Blanton, be careful, man. Putting this is the problem with YouTube. Now, you're still a small channel. Really, it's only me and probably like 2 other people watching your channel, and you're probably watching your channel more than anyone else. What would I tell any potential YouTuber? Everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. Until you start to get negative comments, you haven't started YouTubing. So just remember, when you're a YouTuber and you put yourself out there, you can kind of deal with it because it's yourself. But if you put your girlfriend out there or your boyfriend and they start attacking your boyfriend or girlfriend, you're in a whole nother dimension. And you may say, this is what you're going to say to me. You're going to say, Sam, I'm doing a drink about Fuji water. Why would anyone attack me? Guys, YouTube is a place, a lot of times when people in the mental asylum, they're typing shit on. Guys, a lot of people that are really struggling mentally, they're on YouTube with a lot of profiles. And even though you think you're not doing anything bad, you're not talking about politics, sex, or religion. I remember one of my first videos. I was like extra nice. I wouldn't talk about anything controversial. I was just going, yeah, and someone came in and started attacking me. And that's why I say, you know what? I'm going to tell people to kick rocks quick. Okay. So what I can tell you is, you got your girlfriend out there. You're out there. You're trying to be a young guy talking about Dave Ramsey. And then all of a sudden they tell you, fuck your girlfriend. And then they start coming in. Next thing they do is they start creating fake profiles and they give you a thumbs down. As soon as you upload it, they didn't like really watch your video and evaluate, is this guy good or bad? No, they just create they're spiteful, nasty, mentally disturbed people. And look, they're doing it right now. They press the thumbs down. Guys, they're psychopaths. Okay? So what I can tell you is liberate YouTube. Liberate YouTube. And when you can, get a channel membership that people have to pay to come into your channel or else they're blocked. Okay? Why? They'll circle out all the psychopaths. Okay? So what I can tell you is this. Let them all burn, okay, in their place. I am giving you a piece of advice, Blam, because what I can tell you is they don't teach this in school, man. But I just told you. Good job. He goes, I think there will be a chance that people will be ready to get out. Oh, they're ready. They will spend lots of money at first. Not me. I'm cheap as hell. And then it will level out after several months. It depends, man. This is not a normal recession. Guys, the entire country was shut down for 5 weeks, going on 6. People who had a Greek restaurant or a Spanish restaurant, and they were making good money, and now they don't know if that restaurant's ever going to make any money. They don't have pent-up demand. They're on the verge of bankruptcy. So I do not think that you have the pent-up demand that you think that's going to happen. because there is a lot of small business owners. Maybe they were selling like trophies to like the Shamrocks and to like the sports teams. Maybe they sold prom dresses. Guys, those businesses are done, man, probably. You know what I mean? Maybe. So even if you open up the country tomorrow, those small business owners, they're not ready to spend a lot of money. They're trying to make money. And right now, if you were going to the prom and you had to wear a face mask, are you going to spend a lot of money on a dress? Hell no. You're like, fuck it, I'm wearing a face mask. I might as well wear my pajamas to the prom. Okay. Are you going to go out and buy a football jersey from an online store when you're wearing a face mask? No. Guys, you might as well look like shit because no one can even see your face. This is the greatest revolution for any ugly psychopath out there. Now no one knows what you look like. Guys, you may finally get some ass because you're going to bring someone back to your house and they're not even going to see your face. Guys, this is a win for all the ugly psychopaths out there, man. This is a win for you, man. Let's take hydration break. I'm feeling it tonight. I'm feeling good tonight. Luke, unwind for the night with some good Tony Danza. I remember Tony Danza. Who's the boss? I remember that show. Love to that show. Oh, yeah. Thank you, brother. Rob, what's up, man? Hey, I hope everyone's doing well. I appreciate that positive comment, brother. God bless you. Let me take my hoodie off. A little hot, man. Plastic surgery is going to take a hit. Like if you wanted to get a nose job, but now you got to wear a face mask, why would you get a nose job? Guys, all the people that were making money plastic surgery, they're going into a recession, man. Luke says, Sam, now Will Smith will be accused of child molestation. The world's crazy. Is that what happened? What happened with that? Rob, what? Little pizza roll. Democrats proposed $2,000 bill. I saw that. A month. I like that. For everyone up to a year, up to when unemployment's below the pre-levels of the coronavirus. Fingers crossed. If we go into a recession, it's possible. If everything goes back to normal immediately, probably not. But guys, we gave billions to the corporations, trillions, I mean, and we're buying junk bonds on the open market, so that's the least they could do. Lila, we need to vote Biden 2022. Well, I'll take away the last two and make it 2020. I'll say, okay, because I'll vote for a dead squirrel over Trump. That's true. And that's okay with me. Luke, someone put a squirrel emoji in the live feed. Luke, I feel you, Sam. Definitely going to take control of my life. Good. Because that's the only person to look out for. It starts with you and then it overflows to there. Good job. Buds says, yeah, I quit weed. Never even meant to. Well, that's a positive thing if you improve your life, man. God bless you. Thank you for sharing. Luke. It's crazy how we like to think the past was better than it actually was. That's truth. Uncle Luke gave me the 100-pound emoji. Thank you, brother. Pluto. Buds, I quit cigs 6 months ago. Praise the Lord. I feel great at 30. People who smoke cigarettes are at a higher risk right now. Cigarettes will kill you, man. I totally agree with that. Shane's laughing. Thank you again, Shane. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Grazer, Marin, and Pluto as well. In orbit, hit that thumbs up. Yes. Can we get up to 100 likes? Come on, guys. In orbit. BBT, what's up, man? Shout out to South Carolina. Been filing and paying taxes for 45 of my 60 years here on Earth. And I have an active bank account, but the virus stimulus money says no information available. Don't see where to go because the website is terrible. I don't know. I mean, I know if you go to the government's website, White House government, whatever it is, you can probably just Google it and find the government White House website. Well, the only criteria I know for getting the stimulus is you have to make under $99,000. If you make $75,000 a year under, you get $1,200. If you make under $99,000, you get $1,000. If you are claimed as a dependent, you don't get any money. If you're on SSI or Social Security, you should get some money. I heard that the people who have more money, as far as assets and make more money, they're going to be the last ones to get the check because they try to give the check to people who need it the most, supposedly. So that's kind of what I've heard. Good luck, brother. Luke, when you really think about how life is so short, it really makes you think, why are we not really living our best lives? Well, guys, I'm trying to get as close as I can. Living with zest and passion. I'm feeling that. And true fulfillment. Well, guys, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to watch some Canadian porn tonight, and I'm feeling that. BT. My life has changed forever. That's true. We will never get back to where we have been. No, definitely not. And if you're 60, you may not ever see those days again. I haven't seen my grandboys for 5 weeks. I'm sorry about that, brother. And that hurts. Well, love to you, brother. I don't mean to laugh at that. I need them and they need me. I can understand that's tough. Tired and that hates. Yeah, the division really makes me upset what I've seen the past couple days. And it's just a political mumbo jumbo. Like I say, I spend more time in society than most people, and most people always are getting along. You know what I mean? People are very civil to each other. But I definitely feel your pain. I empathize with your pain on not being able to see your grandkids, because I'm like the same way with my mother. Like, I'm close to my mom, but I can't see my mom. I haven't hugged my mom since I came back to New Jersey. And that's why I came back to New Jersey. Just in case something happens, I don't want her to be alone. So, like, even my mom, sometimes she's cried on the phone. She goes, Sam, I want to hug you. I said, I know, Mom, but we got to be smart until we get past, at least like to May and see what happens. So I can empathize with your pain, brother. Mark B, shout out to Albany, New York, brother. I remember that. Thumbs up. It's sad sometimes. I do wish I had the rewind button to replay. I understand that, but we got to let go. To reevaluate everything for the future. Now, I understand. You can't go back and say, oh, if I would have bet on the Yankees, they would have won the World Series, or I would have bought this stock, or if I would have stopped dating this girl. We have to live life going forward, and that's a big battle to keep your mind going forward. I know, man. Norma, great topic. Thank you. I got to jump on an 8:30 call. Make that money. I'll check to see if you're still around. What time is it right now? It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go live every night on this YouTube channel. Subscribe if you're not. What time do I go live? Usually between 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. Let's continue, buds. At Pluto. I managed to kick that habit for 2 years. My lungs feel awesome. That's truth. No coughing in the morning and feeling like crap. Yeah, that's what I hate about cigarettes and even weed, man. Cigs don't do anything for you. I totally agree, but it's very addictive. Most addictive drug ever, I think. I remember I remember a crack addict telling me that cigarettes were harder for her to quit than crack. And I was looking at her like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? So, guys, crazy. At least we had some effects. Luke, do you like smoking cigars? No, I did. When I stopped smoking cigarettes, I started to smoke Black and Milds, which are cigars. And then I even smoked regular cigars. But then I just gave all that stuff up because it just made me feel like shit. And, but you try to like progressively get out of that vicious cycle. Rob, I see things clearer now than 2 years ago. Good. But it makes me more lonely. I hear you, man. Go for a walk, though. And remember, the loneliest you will ever feel in life is in an unequal, unhealthy relationship. There is a reason you broke up. Never forget it. Good job. Let's continue to read. Loyalty means everything. I think a lot of America will open up in May, shut back down by June. Testing isn't priority, and people won't listen to the guidelines. And a vaccine emoji, will be the only hope for this far away. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, brother. Good to see you. Pluto, buds, very true. Life is good. Luke, what is a good camper trailer that can be pulled with a Prius? None. Prius is not built and not made to pull a camper. I think there's some years that a Prius can pull maybe up to 1,000 pounds, but I would not put that type of demand on a Prius. I think like pulling a bike, like a bicycle rack, is like the biggest thing you'd want to do with a Prius. If you want to pull a travel trailer, do not get a Prius. A Prius is for car driving, period. In my opinion, and in the manufacturer's opinion. So, yeah, I would not pull anything with a Prius. You're going to destroy the car. I'm even suspect on pulling something with the Jeep Renegade because 2,000-pound tow capacity, you really don't want to tow more than a half of the rated tow capacity. So if my Jeep is rated to pull 2,000 pounds, really you don't want to pull more than 1,000. Now you can pull more than 1,000, but you got to be careful on where you drive. If you're going up hills, you put a lot of wear and tear on the brakes, on the axles. So, you got to be very careful. You don't want to destroy your car. It's not worth it. Shane, thank you again, man. I'll have to check that book, Who Moved My Cheese, by Dr. Spencer Johnson. Very small, simple book to read, not a long-winded book. My dentist recommended it to me back in the day. He goes, check out that book, Who Mama My Cheese. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate your tip, brother. Luke, I agree. Change sucks. Damn right. Luke, but you do have to let go. Amen. Luke, yo, Sam, this family thing will always be a pain. I know. I can hear your pain, man. So much it will never be healthy. Once you realize something isn't healthy, you got to get out of the relationship. Not easy. But I tell everyone right now struggling to get over a breakup, change your phone number and never look back, because the loneliest you will ever be is in an unequal, unhealthy relationship. You will destroy your life. You will destroy your spirit. You will destroy your self-confidence. You will become an emotional tampon, and the rest of your life will be in a dark cloud. And if I tell you anything tonight, change your life forever and never look back to a relationship that did nothing positive for you, or it's over. Once it's over, it's over. Good job. Let's continue. Luke, relationships, yep. Luke. And I can't, so I move forward. You keep hurting yourself. Guys, a lot of the pain in life, whether it's through gambling, relationships, or drugs, a lot of pain in life is self-inflicted, okay? So that's the worst pain to deal with, man. So you gotta be careful. Tom, one finger up, brother. Pluto, very true, Sam. Life is temporary, damn right. Do you think we will come back after death? That's an interesting question. And have you been here before? What are your thoughts on it? I don't know. That's the bottom line answer, okay? I actually hope we don't come back. I hope, because I don't want to come back. Like, to me, one life is enough in this world. I don't love this world. I'm thankful for, living in a first world country, even though America is the only first world country that doesn't have universal health care. I'm thankful for all my blessings, because I've seen people that have a lot worse than me. But at the same time, I have felt the pain of life, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I feel that if you live intentionally and you try to change your life to live your best life, living a full life one time is enough in this world. I wouldn't want to come back. If you say, Sam, I'll be 40 this year. If you say, Sam, I can return time and I could put you back at the age of 20, would I want to relive another 20 years? No. When I was obese and I lost 200 pounds, someone stopped me and they said, Sam, you just added 10 years of your life. And they expected me to be happy. I looked at them like I was a little bit like, I don't know if I wanted to do that. Now, I don't have a death wish. A couple of times I've been close to death. I was scared. Okay. So, but I personally, I don't want to come back to this world. I don't. So I do hope that there's some type of heaven. I hope it's Florida. Okay. And I hope I'm just banging out Latino milfs and I got a permanent vasectomy. That's what I hope. I don't know how it'll play out. We'll see. Steven, remember Trump will be gone in November. Possibly he may get reelected. But if he gets reelected, then you'll probably get AOC in 2024. So either way, I think it'll be positive. Keep the faith, homie, and enjoy the Fuji. Thank you. This is good water, man. Expensive water, man. Let's take a hydration break. Thank you, man. Let's continue. H5 laughing. SC, what's up, man? Late for your live stream. Yeah, I was watching the White House press conference, and I usually like to watch that before I go live. I stupidly, against my better judgment, watched press conference. I watched it too. It was a total disaster. Totally praising himself, and he has moments where he could be good. Then he gets to the Q&A where he's off the top of the head, and he's like, talks wild. It's nasty. Once again, he has confirmed his total disaster. Shelly! Hey, Sam, final super chat. Passing through. It's good to see you. Well, damn it, Shelly, I ain't see you in a long time. How are you? How are your dogs? I still remember you. Love to you. Do the best you can in this pandemic. I know it's not easy, but you got your doggies to keep you company. Love to you, Shelly. Great to see you again. Stay healthy. Just do the best you can. I know how this world is. Love you, and thank you for everyone who's being gracious on the super chats. Thank you. But yeah, man, I watched that too, essay. All we could do is, all politicians, though, after 4 years or 8 years, I've gotten tired of all of them just about. So everything runs its course. In my opinion, the best part about America is every 4 or every 8 years, you're going to get a new president. So Now, sometimes you may love that and sometimes you may hate it. It all depends on who you prefer politically. But either way, change will happen forever. You'll never have George Bush as president again. You will never have Obama as president again. And even if Trump gets elected after another 4 years, you'll never have him as president again. Life constantly changes. So life goes on with or without us. It's true. Loyalty means everything. Could kids return to school wearing a face mask? I think they're going to have to. Definitely. Because that's a very high risk area because the children are in close quarters. You can only so much social distance. And kids can bring it home to their grandkids. Like, BBT ain't see his grandkids in a while. So I think most states will wait until next school year, which possibly may be the second wave, because in my opinion, I don't see much value in putting kids back in school in May just to be in school for one more month. However, the value of school is for the adults in the household going back to work. School is daycare and it allows the parents to go to work. So there is like a give and a take why you want kids to go back to school, because the parents need to be able to go do whatever they do. That's true. Shane, thank you again, man. What do you think about marijuana and, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Circafina? I don't know how to say that right. So I won't speak on that second one because I don't know what it is. What do I think about marijuana? Well, number one is I smoked illegal marijuana as a kid, just like as a kid, right? So I understand it. I am for marijuana being legal for the fact that I think it can be the same or better versus a prescription drug, depending on what you may be struggling with. In my opinion, if you don't need marijuana, I would not recreational smoke it, because to me, in my opinion, all marijuana did was make me either be paranoid, make me have the giggles, or make me have the munchies, and make me hang around a bunch of non-productive people. Marijuana is a downer. It's a non-productive drug. It calms down the mind. For some people that have an overactive mind, it may calm them down, and everyone reacts differently. But I am for marijuana being legal for the simple fact it's better to buy marijuana from a legal shop rather than from like a bad neighborhood, which I did when I was younger. We'd be in bad neighborhoods doing it. So for me, I think you put people in a better environment where they don't have to go to a bad illegal place to buy a drug that is either the same or worse than a prescription drug. Now, again, it varies on your individual personality, medical condition, etc. But if you didn't need marijuana, in my personal opinion, I would not smoke it. I would recommend you try to get off it because it's a downer, it kills your brain cells, and it is smoke. Now, if you eat brownies and stuff like that, you can get away from the smoke aspect of it. But for most people, I would try to avoid it. There's exceptions out there that people that have maybe some physical or mental problems that it may help. But I am for it being legal for the reasons I just stated. I don't know the second one, so I don't want to comment. Marin, thank you again for both of them. I talked on it. Shout out to Milford Motors. Showgirls, hey Sam, good to see you, Showgirls. Love to. I saw your video with your sewing machine. Good job. Marin, oh God. Steven laughing good. Showgirls, if I die, I have to find a way back because I have too much to do. Well, you could do some stuff for me because I'm tired as hell. I love you, Showgirls. TY, what's up, man? Northeast recommendation for places to live in a van life in Florida. Northeast Florida, you mean? Well, all of I-95 has rest areas. So if you're on the east coast of Florida, I-95 has rest areas. Now, technically, I don't think you're supposed to be there more than 3 hours in most of them. But the rest areas off I-95, they do have security guards. So they do monitor it. But that's also safety because they do monitor it. There's security guards there every night for most of them. If you're trying to sleep on the turnpike in Florida has rest areas. Don't try to do that because the state troopers monitor that heavy. And I've had a couple state troopers knock on my door and I wasn't doing it. They just said, look, you can only stay here for so long. So I got up and I left. So, I recommend campgrounds. There's some free camping in Florida. If you go to the water management district, you can, as long as you get a permit online, you can free camp. So I don't know if they're open or not right now. The other area is there's a lot of truck stops in the Northeast. So look up the Loves, the Pilots, the Flying J's, truck stops, rest areas, and campgrounds. They are all patrolled, okay? Every town has different leniency. Some are you're going to know right away, at least within the first couple of nights or the first night, how they restrict it or if they restrict it. And all I can tell you is this, is once they show you that they don't want you there or the cop knocks or whatever, don't abuse the right to be there because you're going to get in trouble. But those are the general areas. If you didn't have a campground, which I do recommend you try to get a campground. I mean, right now it's tough until you get out of the national lockdown. Even in Florida, you still a lot of campgrounds closed. But that'd be my general advice. Showgirls, when the corona ends and they call in all those notes, properties will be cheap as dirt on the market. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll depend how long the lockdown and the recession is. Obviously, the longer the recession, the cheaper the property values will be. Like right now, if the economy bounces back within 3 to 6 months, I don't think it will bounce back to pre-coronavirus levels. I do not go by the stock market. The stock market is an inflated indicator. Right now, the government's buying junk bonds. You can't go by that. I'm talking about regular America. If you have money in the stocks and you're making good, no problem. I'm just talking about people who own a restaurant, people who own a barbershop, people who own car dealerships, people who are car salesmen. Many people in society, they may not ever get back to pre-coronavirus for years. Their life has changed forever for at least the immediate future. So if we go, the longer we go, the more property values will drop. But right now, no property values have really dropped. But again, once you get 6 to 8 months in and people realize like their job's never coming back or their business is never going to get back to what it was, then people will start to sell assets. Why does the stock market go down before real estate? And why does it go back up? Because the stock market is liquid. You can buy and sell 1 million shares like this. Property is different. It's very illiquid. It's a hard asset. So people will first sell liquid assets. And then if their business or if their job doesn't provide the adequate income, then they'll sell the hard assets, the house, the car, etc. Okay. So, but you're not at that cycle in economics yet until you get to about 6 to 12 months into the recession. Then you start to see the hard assets being liquidated. Because all basically a recession is a liquidation of assets, a repossession of assets, and a repricing. We're not at that point yet. We're still like kind of in the stabilization of a shock of an economic downturn. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. Milano, shout out to everyone in Miami. Shout out to you and Emilio, everyone living full-time in their Class B+. Milano's got a Class B+, fully self-contained RV. He lives in a public park down in South Florida, man. Shout out to you, brother. Marin. RVs are easy to resell, not like a sticks and bricks. That's true. A property, on average, to sell a house or a condo takes, on average, 4 to 6 months in a decent economy. In a great economy, it'll take about 2 to 4 months. In a regular economy, a house sale takes about 4 to 6. In a recession, it'll take anywhere from 8 months to 2 years to sell a house. A car or an RV is more liquid. You can go to a car dealership and sell your car tomorrow like this. Now, it may be for book value, okay, but it's a very liquid thing. A house is a hard asset. It takes time. And that's why, again, Apathy just sold her house. And even though she may have bought a condo that's above her means, if that's where she wanted to live, she was better off. Because I don't want to make anyone hurt that's going through this now, because who knows how it'll play out, but I would be upset if I wanted to sell my house, but I didn't get a chance to before the recession hit or before this coronavirus, because it's going to take a little bit. Now, it may not. Again, we may return very quickly and house prices may stay up. I don't know the future, guys, but these are my thoughts on how I would feel. Steven, do you see more protesting where you are? I haven't seen any protesting. Uh, Even back throughout my entire lifetime, um, whether it was, well, I didn't live in LA, but you could say the Rodney King riots. I did see the Black Lives Matter not riots, but protest, uh, like 4 years ago. So right now I haven't seen any like reopen the country protests. I've seen some towns go around in their cars and beep the horn to show support for the first responders. Okay. Protests are staged through the political affiliates representing the protests. To organize a protest is very much in most protests are staged. They are a political deflection to influence people politically. There's some, very few, that are organic in nature. Because to get people collectively together takes a lot of organizing. Okay. So my thoughts on the protest is I am okay with someone protesting only if they stood with the NFL players' right to peacefully protest and take a knee. If they didn't stand with the NFL's right to do that, then them protesting to keep their gun and open up the country, I think they're a disgrace to this country. But that's their First Amendment right, even though they didn't stand with the NFL players for their First Amendment right. Marin, I am in my 22-day of self-isolation. I am wondering if I have the virus. What was that, a zucchini emoji? Since December. I may have had the virus a couple of weeks ago. It's tough to tell without testing. The doctor couldn't cure me with regular drugs. It doesn't move, but I'm not with the flu symptoms anymore. Well, thank God for that. If you're feeling sick, the two worst red flags are fever and shortness of breath. Shortness of breath, that is when you really need to seek help, guys, because you should never, when your body is operating at any type of normal capacity, you should never have a shortness of breath. A fever is obviously another major red flag. But a cough, which I had a cough and I had congestion, that's not, you got to monitor it and isolate. But once you get a fever and shortness of breath, that's when you need to escalate to a hospital or urgent care room. Shane, thank you again, brother, for that generous super chat. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Shane. And thank you, too, for everyone who takes the time to click that thumbs up. If we can get up to 100, I appreciate that. Marin, yay, Shane. Marin, hearts. Showgirls. Shane, not Sean, silly. Is it? I don't know. Guys, forgive me if I said it wrong. You must need glasses. I do. I'm wearing contacts. I'm tired as hell. Thank you, showgirls. Forgive me. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Steven, yay, Shane. Or Sean. I don't know. Shawn Michaels. I'm going to say Shane. Legend. Man, I think Stacey Adams, I used to have some shoes called Stacey Adams, will be president, and I'm all for that. I never even heard of Stacey Adams. Marin, hydration break at Marin. Fuji Waters in the house. Rob. Sorry, Sam. I voted Green Party over Biden, but I'm in AY. Won't make a difference. Well, it will make a difference. You're basically going to vote for Trump. Obviously, look, everyone has the right to vote however they want. I may not agree with it, and I may block some people if I feel I want to. But I want to be honest with you. I don't, you know where I stand. You know the facts. If you don't vote for Biden if you don't vote for Biden, you're voting for Trump, even if you don't vote or if you vote for another party, because there's no way they're statistically going to make it. Like I could say, I wrote in Andrew Yang's vote because I originally supported Andrew Yang, but if he is not the Democratic nominee, if I write his name in, I voted for him, but I basically just voted for Trump. So guys, look, I'm an optimist, but I'm a realist, and I'm a direct talker. You have your right, guys. It's your right to vote, even if you want to vote for Trump. Now, it's my right to block you if you say Trump 2020. But what I would tell you to do is just be honest with yourself. If you could say, look, I don't want to vote for Biden, I'm going to vote for a Green Party person. You basically are saying, if you're going to be honest with yourself, you're voting for Trump. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. That's your right. But let's be honest about it. Forgive me, I know I said that name wrong. Grazer, $9.99 super chat with a guy saying thank you very much. And my man DTN, $10 even, man. I appreciate that. My first super chat ever. And he's still employed working for the hospital. He's a man of integrity, entrepreneur. Shout out to all my small businesses out there, brother. Shout out to your son and your family, and God bless you, DTN. Thank you. Michael, what's up, man? Do you see the way Trump was holding that swab? Yeah, I did see that. Michael, that's funny. I was looking for a swab in my car. I wanted to do a little skit on it and make you laugh, but I couldn't find any swabs, and I'm too cheap to buy some swabs. But I definitely saw. I laughed my ass off. Like when I watch a Trump conference, he's an entertainer. That's what he is. So I laugh, I get pissed, and I laugh again, and then I just turn it off in disgust. How do I watch a Trump conference? I watch it, I laugh, I get angry, I laugh again, and I get disgusted. I said, this is crazy. That's how I look, Hooters, I'm not mad at that. Hooters job lost $40,000. That's a lot of money. I'll tell you, I always told you guys, who's the first people to suffer in a recession? The strippers. The strippers are the first people to suffer in a recession. That's true. Right. You so on point about K-Tech's response. Well, I've been there myself. I'm speaking facts. Oh, BVT says, Marin, get well soon. Amen. Bland, I told my girlfriend she better be prepared. Well, she ain't prepared, guys. No one can prepare you for a Mike Tyson uppercut. Like, you could spar for 6 months. You could be working out. But when Mike Tyson hits you with that uppercut, you're going to sleep. So what I could tell you and your girlfriend, because you guys are doing YouTube for free. I did YouTube for free for a year, and I'm trying to tell you, you're gonna have some Mike Tyson uppercuts, man. And at least when you get a Mike Tyson uppercut, and you're getting paid like $20,000, like who was the first guy that Mike Tyson fought when he got out of prison? Who was that guy? Who was the first guy that Mike Tyson fought when he got out of prison, man? I forgot. Irish guy, I think. But when you're getting paid to fight Mike Tyson, if you get knocked out, you at least say, well, you know what? At least I'm getting money. But when you get knocked out from Mike Tyson and you ain't getting paid, it's like doing YouTube for free. And so that's what you're about to do, man. But that's how you move forward in life. You got to work at minimum wage to get the better wage. You got to sometimes do an internship or do YouTube for free to work your way up. So you're a hard worker. You will be able to work your way up because you know that, but just be careful. Because when you bring your lover into a public forum, it can get nasty. Because, you'll be able to handle, someone says some shit about you, you're going to get pissed. I always told you guys, you got to have good mental health to do YouTube. You don't think so, but I'm trying to tell you. But you're going to be able to handle it, even though you're going to have some tough nights. But when they start to attack your girlfriend or your dog, it's wild, man. Bland says, I told my girlfriend to be prepared for those comments. So Mike Tyson uppercut. I've already gotten some bad comments already. All you did was positive videos, man. It's a disaster. For some trolls, I just delete them all. You better block them too, man. It's kind of scary. Guys, I had a couple people threaten me, said they were stalking me. I said, look, hey, I'm terminally ill, bro. So, it is what it is, man. But there's a couple people, they came on their channel. Guys, it's a disaster on YouTube, man. It's a total disaster. Now, eventually you weed out the bad people and you meet more good people. But you got to keep mowing the lawn. You got to keep blocking people. Because as soon as you block one troll, another one pops up. Eventually, guys, they just run out of steam if you're a fighter. If you're not a fighter, guys, they'll run you over. They will run you over. So it's like everything in life. You got to be a fighter, in metaphorically speaking. But what I can tell you is that's the way life is. Gangster. Trump is a racialist. To a certain extent, I think he definitely instigates it. And I definitely think he has tendencies of that. And I think he leans in that direction. So, look, I didn't vote for him, didn't like him. I don't think he's necessarily a Ku Klux Klan guy. But beyond the racial part, I don't like his policy. I don't like his integrity. I don't like how he leads the country. But there's definitely some part of it that I would say is a level of racial and social economic disconnect. No doubt about it. But he knows how to play to his base. And you say, Sam, what facts do you have to prove that Donald Trump is racial? I'll give you a fact. 2 years ago, he called the NFL players sons of a bitches for peacefully taking a knee and exercising their First Amendment right to protest. Today, you had people with semi-automated weapons standing on street corners even though we're under a lockdown and you shouldn't be outside unless it's an essential reason. So technically, they're breaking his own rule, and they're doing it in the name of protesting. And he said, you know what? They seem like fine, respectable people. So I think that's evidence enough to prove that there is definitely a racial factor to Trump and his motives. There's no doubt about it. Stan laughing. Dead squirrel over Trump. Dead squirrel 2020, in my opinion. Shane, any advice on making friends? Less is more. Less is more. The less friends you have, the better. And why? Why? Because the more you work on yourself, the better. The happier you are with yourself, the better quality of the friends you have. If you don't love yourself and you're looking for friends, you're going to have a low standard, and then you're going to have a low quality of relationships, and relationships are the number one cause of stress. Number one thing that'll kill you. It's not Donald Trump's semi-automated weapon friends. It's bad self-image, bad self-confidence, and therefore the people you allow in your life because you don't have a standard. So if you say, Sam, how do I make more friends? I tell you, less is more. Work on yourself, and the friends will come. There's billions of people in the world, and you'll have plenty of opportunity to meet good friends, whether you're working out in the gym. You'll be working out in the gym, getting your life together, and you'll meet someone organically. However, don't date anyone in the gym. Why? Get your life together. Work on you. Let the relationship form organically. I rushed a lot of relationships. I remember I met some hot Asian chick, and I tried to rush it. And I remember her telling me, like, Sam, let the relationship form organically. But I was like, screw that. I want to boil this water. So I've failed in certain relationships because I tried to rush or force a relationship. Okay. When you are truly at peace with yourself, and that's a full-time job the rest of your life, relationships will come, and you'll have to, guys, right now I'm batting off the pussy, man. I'm fighting off people. I'm blocking people left and right in real life and social media. People begging to get with me. And not just like as a lover, as a friend. Why? Because, guys, I'm at a place in my life, just like you could be, where you're at peace, and you know what I mean? You can deal with yourself. And you don't need someone else to, you know what I mean? Someone else would just be a compliment, not a necessity. Okay. But for many people, a relationship is a necessity, not a compliment. And that's when it becomes competitive, and that's when you end up wasting 10 years of your life, ending up in divorce court, coming on my live feed and say, Sam, I'm contemplating suicide. What should I do? And I said, brother or sister, go for a walk. You're going to cry for 6 to 8 months straight. Change your number, get into a healthy support system, work on yourself, mind, body, and soul, and take life one day at a time. A relationship will destroy your life quicker than the coronavirus. Never forget it. I have factually known more people in my life that either committed suicide or on the verge of suicide because of a relationship, not the coronavirus. That's truth. And so what I tell you is just be very, very cautious. Let's continue. Shane, I got you. Tom, good advice from the hardest working man on YouTube. I'm doing the best I can. I appreciate that. Got to be a fighter. And Tom is one of the hardest working mechanics in his company. And that's why he was able to get past the layoffs and past the recession. He's a fighter. He's a survivor. You got to keep showing up. There's always going to be a psychopath that runs across the football stadium and he has to get tasered. It's just there's always going to be a certain percentage of people in society that they're just troublemakers. They're instigators. And the worst part about it is when you have a leader that instigates that mindset. So just keep going for it. Lila, tonight we have severe weather, 3 a.m. Well, it's probably still better than New Jersey, but I'll pray for you. Quaz boy, what's up, man? What's up, Sam? Just popped in. I appreciate that. Check out Corey Man X YouTube channel. His message is freedom. People are starting to protest against shutdown states. That's not a message of freedom. Guys, I don't think it's wisdom to go outside with your semi-automatic, stand next to someone, and protest your lack of freedom. If I did, I would say it. I think that's pride, arrogance, and mental illness. Okay? Because, guys, it's 5 weeks. And unless I don't see any injustice or oppression. If this was 5 months and no one had died and someone was coming to take away your gun, fine. But guys, if you have bipolar, if you've been diagnosed with depression and you have a gun, I think before the coronavirus, we should have passed legislation that you shouldn't have a gun. So I agree with the right to protest, though. That's your right. But I also agreed with the NFL players' right to protest. So if anyone is protesting and they didn't stand with the NFL players, guys, I don't stand with them now. I give them their right, though. I don't want to take away their right. But I don't promote or support their movement. And I damn sure don't want to watch their YouTube channel. So, guys, what YouTuber did I watch today? It wasn't about protesting. It was a Canadian comedian, Julie Nokel. Julie Nolke. Canadian comedian. Why? Because I have a healthy mind. You know, my mind is not about loading up my gun and going outside. Guys, you got all the guns you need. Okay. Believe me, I know. And believe me, that ain't a threat right now. Okay. So, anyone tell you different, they probably have a history of bad health, bad relationships, and they're bad people. I won't fuck with them. So, that's my opinion. Someone don't like it, they watch the wrong channel. Shelly, love to you and I thank you for that. And God bless you, Shelly, you and your dogs. Let's continue to read. Justin, hello to you. Hang loose and heart emoji back to you. Richard, hey Sam. Also a quick flyby also. Getting up early was called back to work tomorrow. Well, still having a job is a blessing. Love to you, Richard. Keep showing up, brother. Make that money. Quaz, I'll start a new job tomorrow. Good. At Bojangles, I like that. Money bag emoji. Took them a while to open up, though. Quaz boy, persistence beats resistance. Good job, brother. Shelly. And that's another thing, guys. A job, a sport, productive things keep you out of trouble. Okay? And that's where I do recommend that we should open the economy a little bit or certain parts of society safely, because people with idle time, they get into trouble. It's just like your child. Like, you know, when you have children, like, the debate is like, you put your child into a sports program because you want them to use their time and their energy productively. Okay. So a lot of people that are protesting now that they want to get back to work, and that's fine, that's great, or they want society to open, what they are is they're like immature children that they don't know what to do with their energy, so they're expressing it through that means. Okay. That's how I honestly feel about that in a lot of instances. Shelly, oh my God, you remember me. Oh yeah, I remember you and your dogs. Dogs are good, I'm praying for you. I'm dealing with a grown son on meth. I know, I got family members been strung out on drugs pretty much my whole life too. Been a nightmare. My mom still struggles with it. Shelly and every parent out there that's dealing with a family member that's strung out on drugs, you're probably going to deal with that the rest of your life. That's truth. There's going to be good times, bad times, and total shit times. But my mom is 73 years old, and I hate to say this, but this is the reality. She'll probably die, and my family members will still be strung out on drugs. They ain't never going to change. Sad. And I'm not saying you shouldn't help them in your own way, but it's a very dangerous road, man, depending on the person. There's some you can help, and they, you know, they'll improve a little bit or a lot. But Shelly, I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm trying to tell you too, I understand what you're saying. I empathize with you. Ty, we need a new political party called Make It Better. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, you know. I would like to see, well, why do we have two parties? Because if you put three in, it's like, there was a study done by Costco. Costco is a wholesale, like a grocery chain or distribute store. Brandon, $10 super chat. Vegas is dead now. Well, a tourist state such as Vegas, shout out to you, Brandon. Thank you very much, Brandon. A tourist state such as Vegas or such as Florida, they depend on tourism for their revenue. And they don't have state income tax because they have a lot of sales tax. The sales tax supplements their lack of state income tax. The biggest problem with this recession is states and municipalities are going bankrupt because their revenue, especially a tourist place like Vegas, they're taking a beating. And I heard asked today on a press conference for small casinos, will they get bailed out like other small businesses? They're debating it. And Trump talked about the casino or the, excuse me, the hotel he owned in Vegas. But remember this, everyone in Vegas, and Brandon, thank you. I remember during the Great Recession in 2008, Vegas took a big hit, and so did Florida, and so did their property values. However, that lasted a lot longer than we are now, and they got out of it. After about 2 to 4 years, Vegas and Florida got out of it, and they were better than ever. So you can get out of a recession or even a depression, and you will. So right now, Vegas is still doing better in one sense of speaking than it was in 2008 because it went years to recover. Hopefully, if we're able to reopen things, Vegas will come back a little bit because you don't want any state to suffer, especially a state that depends on tourism for a lot of their business. Because it's not just the casinos that suffer, it's the workers in the casinos, it's the restaurants, it's the everyday people, man. And that municipality that supports that whole town or city, their budget goes bankrupt, But I'll tell you right now, it's a scary thing a little bit because you think about, even if we reopen the country, are people going to go back into a packed casino? Now, gambling is very addictive. So you're going to get people back. However, it takes 21 days to change a habit. So I still think the addiction to gamble will always be there. However, a lot of the big money in casinos specifically comes from Asia. In this point in society, the Asian culture, and specifically people from China, fly into Vegas, and that's the big money bettors. Now, you still have the regular people that are domestically traveling to Vegas, but there's a lot of red flags with Vegas. It's true. But I hope and I pray that we're able to get every state back, including the tourist states such as Vegas and Florida. So shout out to you, Brennan, and thank you, brother. God bless you, man. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Costco did a study. We're talking about adding a political party. Do I think that's wisdom? When I was young, I thought, let's get a third party. I think that's the best thing ever. Then as I became more mature and I observed human nature, I remember I read an article about Costco, which is a wholesale store. They sell goods in bulk and they make a lot of money. But what they found out through a study was if you give people more than 2 choices, they tend to hesitate and choose nothing. People at their very nature are indecisive. This is very important, guys. People at their nature are very indecisive. It's hard to make a decision. If you give people too many options, they get overwhelmed and they make no decision. Never give a person more than 3 options. But this study said that if you give people more than 2 options, they don't choose anything and they buy less. So Costco usually only sells 1 brand or 2 brands of the same type of product, and they increase sales because it's more easy for the mind to process. The masses get very overwhelmed during election season. I'm not talking about the political junkie who can't wait for political season. Guys, mental health is about to take a hit in America because even if we get out of this coronavirus crisis in the coming months, we're getting ready to go right into another presidential election. And mental health, because all the political ads and all the back and forth is going to start heating up. It's already heating up in the coronavirus. So what happens, though, if you have more than 2 political parties and you add a third, already in America with 2 political parties, only 50% of the population that can vote do vote. It doesn't matter if it's Obama, Trump, Bush. Only half the people who can vote do vote. And so if you put 3 parties, I think you would have less people voting, and then the vote would be spread out even more. The country would have no direction. So what the powers to be came up with, which even though I initially pushed back, I could kind of agree. You want to put 2 basic parties. One party is based on conservative principles, okay? Smaller government, bigger military, higher deficit, tax cuts. The other party, more liberal, okay, more liberal social policies, higher corporate tax, shared society resources, Medicare, Social Security, whatever, and government plays that role. And people choose. And most people don't choose. I don't like either one. And it's easier for people to walk out than to step up and choose. And so they vote for the Green Party, or they vote for the I don't give a fuck. They vote for the Dead Squirrel Party. Guys, I could write in the ballot box right now that I would like Beyonce to be president. Guess what, guys? It don't matter if I vote for her. She ain't gonna become president. So you really only have two choices. It took me a while to get to that place mentally. A lot of people will never get to it. But if you really analyze life and human nature, that's why it's a two-party system. And in one sense, it makes sense. Because people can't handle too many choices. Look, when you're in line in McDonald's in a drive-thru, think about how long it takes for the person in front of you to figure out a menu that hasn't changed in 40 years. They drove to a restaurant. They waited in line. The menu hasn't changed in 40 years, and they get to the ordering station, and they don't know what to order. I can't tell you how many times I've been in Starbucks. People in front of me get there, and the barista says, "Oh, what can I get you?" And they look at the menu and go, "I don't know what I want." Guys, at the very core of human nature is indecisiveness. And that's why many times people are like, "I don't know, just choose for me." There'll be many times you're talking with a girl saying, "Well, where do you want to go?" She goes, "I don't know. Where do you want to go?" The worst thing you can do is as a man say, "I don't know. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?" Because you go back and forth, and she goes, "This guy ain't taking charge." But then you start to take charge, and then they say, "Look, I want to make my own decisions." Okay. Guys, it's a thin balance. Okay. So what do I tell you to do? Stay single. I vote mainly Democratic, okay? Because I believe in more liberal policies than more conservative. And I believe that throughout my lifetime, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama had a better country when they left it than when they took it over. And I believe if we stay on our course, Donald Trump, basically after 4 years, damn near destroyed America. You got 22 million unemployed. You got 40,000 dead. Guys, that's a no-brainer. What happened after Bush left office? 9/11, financial collapse, the country was almost destroyed. What happened after the first Bush left office? We were in a recession. Clinton took over. I could do the math. So, that's how I look at it. Apathy says, Nova Scotia killing spree, 16 dead, RIP to the dead. Even during the coronavirus, shootings continue. Yeah, look, guys, I'm not against a right to have a gun. I'm all for it. I'm just trying to say, if you have I guarantee you, if you do the research, the person who had a gun probably had a mental disability and was probably already diagnosed, but he still had probably a gun. It's crazy. DC, I had this virus. I would not want anyone I love to go through that. It's very scary. Well, DC, thank you for sharing. Thank God that you're healthy. And I have seen people on TV testifying to that same thing. So God bless you, man. Siri, Jersey, what's up, man? In regards to education, school system, your thoughts were spot on. Also, thank you for sharing your views. Thank you for the positive comment. I keep coming back because you're always so damn honest. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Apathy. Hard to make friends in a pandemic, Shane. I'll be your friend. Same, your virtual friend. You aren't alone. I like that. Apathy. Sam is your virtual friend. That's true. I'm virtual. Shane. Yeah, I know he's cool. Well, thank you for the positive comment. Apathy. Have your numbers gone up, Sam, with people watching live due to lockdown? Yes. Yeah, my YouTube, because look, people are at home more. They got more time on their hands. So yes, in that sense it has. But why? Because for 3 years prior, I built up a base. I was uploading a video every day, even when my numbers were going down. So what I tell everyone to do in life is you keep showing up to your life and you keep doing what you need to do, because all of a sudden something will open up. But it's only through your good habits and routine that you positioned yourself to prosper. So that's all fact. I mean, anyone who's been part of my channel or looks at my history for 3 years, even when my views gone down and people hate it, I upload a video every day. I go live every day, and I've been consistent. And if you do that in life, You're going to go through some good times and bad times. Because, guys, when the country reopens, my numbers may go back down. It's part of life. So you just accept it for what it is. Apathy. He is Shane, keeping me sane through this time. Thank you. Good way to find friends in chat rooms with people who have similar interests. That's true. Thank you. Shane, I've been watching him on TV for about 6 months. I'm a TV star at my dad's house. That's cool. I subscribe to him. Sorry you feel that way. Going for a walk helped me out today. Going for a walk will help you physically and mentally big time. Good job. I do it every day. Saved my life. Got me out of obesity. Got me out of a bad relationship. Walking. Shane, maybe a walk will help too. Bundle up. Go for a walk. That's what I tell everyone. Buds, you guys really are lucky to live in a country where there's not much corruption. Well, easy on that, but I hear your point. Mismanagement, and at least there's a degree of accountability for those in charge. To some extent, you're right, because there's third world countries that are very more corrupt, and et cetera, et cetera. So to a certain extent, I acknowledge what you're saying. In a third world, the government openly enriches themselves, their family, friends, at the expense of people in the future nations. Yes, but don't forget, the first world countries manipulate those third world countries and cause regime changes, etc. So it's all a counterbalance. It's true, though. That's why we're better united than divided. So you say, Sam, why don't we just divide our states and forget about the federal government? Because we're stronger together than divided. Believe me, the powers to be, and some of them that do try to rig our elections, just like we try to rig other people's elections, they want us to divide our states and not to be united. Guys, if we didn't have the federal government during this coronavirus, our country would be destroyed. There's been plenty of people that testify that without the federal government's help during this coronavirus, certain states would basically have been wiped out. The value of America, even amongst all its contentiousness, protest, and everything else, is that all states, even if they're different, and they're very different, is that we are united if, God forbid, we're at war. Right now, we're at war. Okay, with the virus, is true. Are we imperfect? Yes. Are we the only first world country that doesn't have universal health care, even though we're already $22 trillion in debt? Yes. Are we better than some third world countries? Yes. Do we manipulate some third world countries and cause regime change? Yes. There's a pro and a con to everything. Are we entitled to our country? No. Why? Because, guys, you could have been born anywhere. What's the difference between you and someone in a third world country? You were born here. Okay. Your parents migrated here? Or your parents were the original Europeans who came over here and took the land from the Native Americans? Or you married Donald Trump for a green card? But in one way or another, my grandparents came through Ellis Island. In one way or another, you got here. And every generation's job is to make the country better. Not to say we have the best country, let's just sit on our ass. Okay, so through progressive forward change, we become a better country. Because don't forget about it, 50 years ago, minorities and women couldn't vote. We were the same as Saudi Arabia. Okay. So don't forget, guys, we're only one generation away from oppression, segregation. So, America's great, but America only gets great through progressive change. And you have to remember that. And that's why we're better united than under a Confederate flag. Okay. Or under even the United States flag. To me, if I was the president, I would change the entire United States flag. Okay. I would put a backdrop of a Native American. I would put a yellow stripe for immigrants. I would put a black stripe for minority movements. I would put a pink stripe for the women movement. I would put a blue stripe for the labor movement. What's the difference between America and China? Labor rights. Who fought for that? Generations ago, Americans stood for labor rights. Why? Because people treated the workers just like they do in China. Never forget that America only got better through progressive movements. And our flag should reflect those movements. There's always going to be people with a divisive mindset. You could be the most inspiring. Don't forget, guys, They assassinated Martin Luther King. They shot Ronald Reagan. They killed JFK. These are some of the most peaceful, fair-minded people in the world. You know, you may not like all of them for different reasons. They crucified Jesus. Guys, Gandhi, you can look at anybody from any culture, okay, that tried to implement change. Even the most fair person was, crucified, in a way of speaking, you know what I mean? But it's very hard to keep people together. Like some people say, Sam, are you surprised we're so divided? No, because I actually think we're more united than ever. Because just based on what I just told you. If you look back at American history, we're more united than ever. The younger generation more open-minded than ever. And it's all a good thing. You know, right now, if you're gay and you want to walk around with a dildo on your head, you could do it without like really being persecuted. When I was coming up in the 90s, if you wanted to walk around like with makeup, if you walked around like Caitlyn Jenner, you would probably be honestly beat up. And you really wouldn't get crucified for it. And 2 generations before me, if you walked around as a minority in a certain neighborhood, you would probably get beat up and criminal charges. If you were a woman, you couldn't apply to be a CEO. Guys, what do I think about America at this point? Even when Donald Trump was president, I think we're in a great place. In many ways of speaking. However, it doesn't keep getting better without people keep pushing it to be better. When you get lazy and you vote for the Green Party or the Dead Squirrel Party, you're making a choice to say, look, I'm going to sit my ass on the seat and watch how this plays out. There's plenty of people that didn't vote that just wanted to see Donald Trump get elected to see the circus. They were lazy-ass Americans. Not patriots. That's true. And even Colin Kaepernick, who protested, he didn't vote. I thought that was a disgrace. So guys, look, does your vote matter? Yeah. Does it make a huge difference? No, it's a collective amount of votes. Okay. But the person running the country, even if you don't agree with them, they form an agenda and they take you in a certain direction. Okay. Would this have happened under any president? Look, yeah, I mean, I don't think no matter who was the president this time that you would stop a pandemic. Now, you may have mitigated it a little bit better if you acted a little bit different. Or even if you didn't act different, you may have been a more calming voice. Like even Pence, Donald Trump's right-hand man, even though he's a yes man, if he was the president, he wouldn't be as divisive. His policy would still be the same as Trump, but he wouldn't be as divisive. Okay. But policies matter. You know, do you believe in Social Security? Even the most conservative person, if you believe in Social Security, I don't know why you would vote conservative, because Social Security is a liberal socialist program. So you have to think about, like right now, if someone didn't institute Social Security and Medicare, and they were a Democrat running on that, the next generation, younger generations, you have to realize you better go after what you want and vote for your interest. Because these corporations, they pay lobbyists to sit in Washington to lobby all parties and set an agenda. However, you better vote for the party that gives you and your children some benefits. Because every Greek restaurant owner that thought they were upper middle class is now waiting for fucking food stamps. Or maybe not yet. Maybe they're still living off their inheritance, or they still got some money in savings. But if this goes on for another year, or even if it heals tomorrow, now you realize that you may have been making $250,000 a year, but you went in a course of 1 week to making nothing. And that's how quick life can humble you. And then that's when you realize that you may be a smart broker. You may be a smart restaurant owner, but you can get squeezed at any moment. And if you don't have basic social programs, you are an elitist. You are a selfish person. It's not your money. Guys, we print money. And if you care about paying back that money, and you remember too, the national American debt, the biggest ower of the debt is America. We borrow money from ourselves, okay? China holds very little amount of our 25 trillion debt, okay? Americans own most of the debt because we take on debt to pay for our budgets. We print money based on the Federal Reserve's recommendation, based on a board governed by the president and the group from the senators. Guys, money is an illusion. The dollar bill is a piece of paper. Its value is determined every day of stock trading. Gold is an illusion. It's a piece of metal. Every day its value is determined on the stock market. If you're going to put a value on a piece of paper, on a piece of metal, let that value serve the good of the vast majority of people, not just corporate dividends, stock buybacks, and bailouts for junk bonds. Never forget it. Norma, $5 super chat. Testify, Sam. Damn, I'm doing the best I can. Thank you, Norma. I'm trying my best I can. Thank you, Norma. I gave it all I got tonight, guys. I give it all I got every night. Let's take a hydration break. Shout out to Fuji Water. Thank you, Norma, for that kindness. I appreciate it very much. Where are we at? Let's continue. Hey, Budge goes, we've been a strong downward trend for decades. Moody's and Fitch already downgraded us to junk. Well, the Federal Reserve is buying junk bonds, so that doesn't matter. And Moody's and Standard & Poor's were late in downgrading the investment debt during the Great Recession with the housing crisis. So Moody and S&P, which is basically a bond, a debt grading process, they're for-profit companies too, in one sense of speaking. So we found out they were corrupt during the housing crisis. So it's all a game. But high inflation. No, let me read your comment. High inflation and high depreciation against the dollar has been killing people's wealth and savings. Well, I hear you. I tend to be a saver, but I have lost money in investments. But right now, we're in a deflation mode, not an inflation. You say, Sam, we're printing money left and right. How is it not inflation? Because, guys, restaurants aren't open. Hair salons aren't open. People don't have money coming in. That's deflation. That's taking money out of the system. Some people got squeezed out of the stock market. That's taking money out of the system. Okay. Inflation is when all assets are going up, revenues are going up, and you're printing more money. Right now, revenues have stopped. Asset prices have gone down. And we're printing money. So deflation and the printing money is balancing. Now, again, we're still out of balance. But before the coronavirus, we were already $22 trillion in debt. However, who owns our debt? The majority of it's owned by us. So we could say, look, we're not going to pay ourselves back. You know what I mean? Like, we can still pay China back and say, you know what? China, we owe China, what, like $8 billion or $8 trillion. Okay, the other $22 trillion, we're just not going to pay ourselves back. That's all. You know what I mean? China does the same thing. Every company that prints money in their own currency, they do the same thing. So, guys, it's all a game, man. It's all like a shell game. Don't get too caught into it. No, I'm back. You're still going strong. I'm burning that thing tonight. Thank you so much. Shane, thanks for all the advice, Inspirational Nomad. Thank you for the kind tip, and thank you for your kind comments. Squirrel, I forget to say the name wrong. Team 88, peace to you. Sean, about to go for a walk. That'll save your life, man. God bless you. Thank you for everything. Rob, oh, Peter McNeely. Yeah, that's who Tyson fought. Thank you, man. That's true. Gloria, it's great to see you. Good to see you, Gloria. Brandon, $10 super chat again. Yeah, for Vegas. We talked about that. Shout to Vegas. Brandon, thank you again. And every state that has tourism, thinking about you guys. Oreo Mouse, what's going on, Queen? How are you? I checked on your video today. You did that lightsaber, and I clicked that thumbs up on your video, and I left a comment. Everyone who hasn't clicked that thumbs up on my video, I appreciate you doing that. Can we get to 100? Queen says, how are you doing today? Doing the best I can. It's a little bit late. I'm getting a little bit tired, but I'm thankful. How are you? Loyalty means everything. Love it when you ask Trump a serious question, and he says, who you work for. Yeah, he's trying to figure out what reporter they work for so he can determine if they're a good favoritive or negative or positive perspective on his presidency. He read an article today, I think from the Wall Street Journal, that praised him. Because, guys, he's an egomaniac. It's true. I mean, it is what, you know he is. Even if you voted for him, he's an egomaniac. So it's just what it is, man. Rob. And they got the Confederate flag, all protests. The Confederate flag is a flag that was once basically the southern states in America. America is a collection of 50 states that are united under the federal government. At one time in our country, all 50 states were not united under one flag. We had southern states that were governed under certain things, and you had northern states. And slavery was a big contentious issue. And the southern states wanted to allow slavery basically because it was cheap labor, in addition to other cultural reasons, but that's one of the major reasons of the Confederate. And so that was one of the contentious points. So guys, why I tell everyone you should love the Federal Reserve, even if they print money until we go so much in debt you can't think, here's why. Without printing money, you are back to a third world. A third world country lives off the land. A first world country prints its own currency, values it, and then you create a society based around it that develops industries, the industrial industry, the technology industry. When you don't have a central bank and when you don't have the ability to print money and it's tied to gold, you're all farmers. When you're farmers, guys, when Trump says we're bailing out the farmers, you won't know any person who's middle class that works on a farm if they didn't inherit it. All people who work on farms are usually immigrants, visa workers, and they get paid dirt poor wages with no health benefits. And they wouldn't even pay them those dirt poor wages if it wasn't for the federal government having labor laws. That's why they had slave labor at one time. Now, that's not the only thing that defines the federal, that's not the only thing that defines the Confederate flag. Because more slavery still took place, and lack of civil rights even under the American flag. Okay? So it wasn't like once we got under the American flag, civil rights came to America, because civil rights didn't come till the 60s with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. So we were way past the Confederate flag days. So there was actually still a lot of oppression under the American flag. But that was a big step forward towards a more civil society. But a lot of people in the South are offended, and they feel like that's part of their identity, and it is part of their culture. What is culture? Culture is a group of people with a certain mindset. And a lot of that mindset is handed down generationally. But guys, look, I cut off my father, and he had a conservative mindset, and he was an immigrant. And he used to be like anti-immigrant. I said, Dad, I said, your father came from Italy. I said, I don't know how you could be anti-immigrant. But so you just have to remember that I don't care if you're in a family that believes in the Confederate flag or believes in racism, or you have to cut off your own family members if you don't believe their shit. I tell my dad, I tell whoever. I don't care if you're blood related and you fucking took care of me. If I don't believe in your policy and I think it's an ethical or moral thing, I won't fuck with you. Okay? Because I think it's that important to me. But a lot of people that were brought up under a certain way, whether it's Confederate or whatever, they just follow in the footsteps of their parents. Like, I had a couple viewers in here, they're just pro-Trump because their father was. Like, they don't really even think about the shit. You know what I mean? So, for me, and I'm sure it's like that the other way too. I'm sure it's like that in a liberal way. You know what I mean? But no matter what you decide to do in life, you damn sure better think about it for yourself. And you damn sure better do some research by yourself. And by what I'm sharing with you, look it up. I did the research. I don't know everything. But I research just like I research religions. I don't even really claim Christianity anymore. Even though Jesus in one sense saved my life, right? I believe in God. I don't quote unquote call myself Christian. I have a level of spirituality. I don't go to church anymore. I went to church for 10 years. It helped me. But also there's religious dogma there. Okay. And Trump calls himself a Christian. He's been married 3 times, committed adultery, fucked a porn star, incites riots. That don't sound Christian to me. So, there's a whole big part of life that's labels and tribal thinking. Like, the counterbalance to everything I say too, that America started like taking land from Native Americans. It's true. But also, if you look at the Native American history, they were tribal too. Aztecs versus this other tribe. It was tribal warfare. And they still killed each other. They did human sacrifice. There's no culture throughout history that didn't have great division. And so you always have to speak up for what's right. Because it don't matter if you were in a Native American time, if you're in now time, or if you're in the future when you're fucking a robot. I wish I was in that time. There's always going to be the majority of people that just sit on their hands and don't vote and don't get involved and don't speak up and don't be a positive person in society. Like, I remember being in a church for several years and we were like, yeah, you got to change corporations, you got to change this, or you got to change that. And I went out there, I worked for corporations, I worked in soup kitchens, I did different things. And you're only going to change something if you're involved in some aspect. And that's why some things, look, there's some be given by the federal government that has the ability to print money. I had a nonprofit. I worked in soup kitchens. And what I can tell you is you need the federal government. You need the federal government to step up to some degree. It's just true. But we're going down a whole nother thing. Let's continue. Where are we at? Oreo Mouse, love to you. I read that. Rob, I read that. Vast. All lamestream media, all conspiracy, massive distraction. Info overload wears out people. Yep, that's why they can't have too many choices. To focus on energy on my vision. Can only control myself. I hear that. Keeping up with Bree. Hey, Bree, it's great to see you. God bless you, Bree. It's great to see you. Hey, Sammy, heart emoji. I'll go back to work on Tuesday. Well, I'll pray for you. I know it's scary to go back to work after being off for a while. But remember this, you'll always feel better when you get off work versus if you decide not to go to work. If you decide not to go to work, you always feel bad about yourself at the end of the day. If you push yourself to go to work, you'll always feel better after the day. So push yourself a little bit. I feel so much better and energized. Good. Now is the time to buckle down and save my money for future Florida. Woo! Well, I'll see you down there, Bree. God bless you. I can't wait to be back in Florida. Tom, we appreciate you. Sam, one finger up. I appreciate you too. Approval ratings are up. Well, brother, I appreciate you also. I think you're a hardworking man. I think you're a survivor also. But I do things in my truth. Because I live below my means, because I'm willing to work, I don't really worry about approval ratings. I appreciate approval ratings because I'm human and I need encouragement and I need positive people. So I don't think like I did everything by myself. Without you guys and without positive people, you need it. So I thank you. But I also say to myself, and you have to ask yourself, all of us have to ask, if people don't like me, well, I still live in my truth, and I will. Now look, there's times you got to be political in life. Again, like I don't go, at my job and get on the phone and tell people to go fuck themselves and go do this. You have to be political at times, you know what I mean? Without being disingenuous. You have to pick your battles a little bit, but in your life, I mean, especially in your creative life and in different things you want to do with your life, you have to live in your truth, regardless of approval. Now, when you're in charge of people and you're put in a position of power, you can't just live in your truth, right? So like the counterbalance, you could say, well, Sam, yeah, Trump doesn't look at the approval ratings either. Well, that's good. I mean, I don't think that determines anything. But when you're in a position of power to take care of people, you have to look beyond just living in your truth. You have to empathize with other people's truth. So, and that's really not, Trump's weakest thing is lack of empathy. His strongest thing is confidence, but too much confidence and not enough empathy give you arrogance. You got to balance. I mean, too much empathy, not enough confidence, people walk all over you. You know what I mean? So you got to find that balance somewhere. And that's not easy. Life is a struggle for balance. But the U.S. definitely come a long way. When you're in one party state, the government tends to become complacent and greedy. I wish mine had some solid competition, hopefully one day. Well, I appreciate you sharing, buds. Thank you. Norma, Thank you again for your consistent report. And shout out to all my masseuses out there, like my man Brandon from Vegas. The tourism industry taking a hit, and all my masseuse people out there who do physical therapy, whatever. I know you're taking a hit, but I know you're good people. I stand with you. You get through it. Gloria, good to see you, Gloria. I love to. Great to see you. And he's asking Buds what country you're from. Bud says South Africa. We were supposed to be the first world country by now, but we have been receding since the early 2000s. There's a scripture that says, without good leadership, a nation fails. And when you have a corrupt country, and all countries, including first world countries, including ours, America has corruption, it's very hard to gain traction. Because money and or hoarding of resources is at the essence of corruption. So it's like, and no one wants to give up power. No one wants to give up wealth. And a more balanced society means that certain people have to give up a certain level of power and wealth. Like people say, Sam, explain to me greed. Like you heard greed when you were coming up, don't be greedy. You heard Bible scripture or religious scripture about don't be greedy. I'm going to give you greedy and how you can understand greedy better than ever before. I had a dog, okay, and I would feed my dog every night good food. I would give her a lot of treats. I spent about $400 a month in treats. Treats and food. And I spoiled my dog. I gave her as much food as she wanted while still being healthy. I gave her every treat she wanted. And for a couple weeks, I had another dog come live with me. I was what they call dog sitting. So what would happen is I would feed my dog. I give her everything she wanted. I give her every treat. Fully satisfied, had abundance. And then I would feed the dog I was taking care of. My dog would attack the other dog to eat her food. Greed is you could be a dog, you could be fed all you want, you could have all the toys you want, but you still want more. Because it's a psychological, territorial thing that someone else is moving in on your goods, your wealth, your resources. And you feel in your mind, if I give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And that's a big mindset for a lot of people. Like where I try to come from, like if I see someone trying to start a YouTube channel, I recommend their channel. I go on their channel. Because to me, I think there's enough views to go around. Like if I ever got a job, I tried in my life to hire other people or to get other people a job. And I know many people that did that because there's enough to go around for everyone. But I have also witnessed people get territorial. They get greedy. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more. I want more. There's nothing wrong with finding more ways to make money. Because you can make more monies being direct or whatever. But it's like, at what point are you doing it to a point where you don't need to go that far? You can let someone else eat a little bit. You know what I mean? So, with the wealth gap in America bigger than it's ever been, and with some countries way even worse than that, it comes back to a basic nature of a dog, of any animal, of greed. That something psychologically clicks in the mind that even though I have everything I want and more, I don't like someone else coming in taking anything or getting something. It's something in the mind. And it's a primitive mind. It's a fearful mind. It's an unrepentant mind. It's a non-loving mind. Again, because I still think you could say, look, I'm going to make more money doing this. I'm going to charge more for this. That's fine. But, like I say, there's a balance, man. And that's a tough balance. James, Sam Baby, thanks for posting the coronavirus stats and keeping everyone posted. Thank you, brother, for the comments and the love. I hope your rash is gone. Great to have you, man. Norma, thanks so much, Sam. Dream good dreams. Oh, it's getting late, man. I'm about to shut down soon. I want to try to read all the comments. Oh, my last one. Papa Pig, good live chat. Stay safe and have a good night. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. James, thanks, Sam. All right, guys and girls, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all the tips. Thank you to everyone who clicked that thumbs up. Thank you for everyone who left a comment. Have a peaceful night, and see you tomorrow, God willing.